So I'm guessing that, like most of us, you want more connection in your life. You want more friends, deeper friends. Maybe you want to find a romantic partner. Um, and there's probably one big thing holding you back from that. You imagine that if I go to social events, if I go to meetups, if I go to parties, I might not like anyone. I might be bored. I might be trapped. People are just going to like small talk, right? So, cool, that sounds nice in theory to go up to random people and talk to them. But what if I don't like that person? Right? So, I want to offer you one reframing that will be really valuable there, and then three options that you have in that moment. So, the reframing is this, and it might sound trivial, but I think it's a pretty significant reframing. Instead of saying, I don't like this person, or this person is boring, this person's bad, this isn't my type of person, whatever. Instead of, I don't like this person, it's, I am not enjoying this conversation. Right? Because that's the more accurate truth. You know, you probably can't say that this is a bad person, this is a boring person, I don't like this person, because you barely know them, right? Maybe they're just having a hard time right now. Maybe they're masking, right? Maybe they're really nervous. So all you really know is that in this conversation, I am not happy. I want something different. Great. So now instead of the problem being there's something wrong with this person, the problem is there's something wrong with my experience. So if that's the case, here are three major things you can try. So the first is change something in the conversation. So the easiest way of doing this is asking a much different type of question. So even if it started out in small talk, you can change it to big talk at any moment. So you can ask something like, so, what's the most controversial opinion you have? Right? A question like that is pretty much guaranteed to upgrade the conversation to a spicier level. Or if that feels a little too much, you could ask something like, what's something you've changed your mind about lately? What's the biggest difference between yourself today and yourself of a year ago? So those are less spicy, but still probably more interesting than whatever's been happening in the conversation thus far. So that's option one. Another variation of that, by the way, is to share something that you find interesting. Hey, I've been reading this cool book lately about this. What do you think about that? So you're allowed to just bring something up. If you're, if you're in the middle of a boring topic, you could say, hey, actually, I'd love your opinion on something. And then you can bring up a new topic. Option two, if it really feels like for whatever reason this is stuck, there's something really challenging about this person, you're feeling judgmental, I don't like this, that could be an opportunity to practice finding empathy, because empathy really is a skill that you have to build. If you're not a very empathetic person, like I used to be, I used to struggle with this a lot. I was really judgmental of people, and I really had to push myself to practice empathy. And now I'm super empathetic after a lot of hard work. So this could be a training ground to say, wow, I notice I'm really judgmental of this person right now. How could I be curious? How could I imagine, like, what if this person's having a really hard day? What if something really challenging is going on in their life? Maybe a loved one just died or something, and this is why they're showing up this way. This is why they're seeming to be, angry or annoying or short-tempered, whatever it is. And I'm not saying give everyone a free pass to um, be cruel to you, right? You don't have to take abuse, but this could be an opportunity just for your own benefit to train that muscle of, how could I practice compassion right now? How could I shift this conversation instead of it being, how do I get something from it? How do I benefit from this? How do I make sure I'm enjoying myself? You could try flipping that to say, how could I be of service right now? Let me imagine this person's having a hard time. How could I offer compassion? How could I offer curiosity? How could I offer care? And again, I'm not saying that you have to be a saint all the time. I'm saying that this could even be just for your benefit. That this is an opportunity for you to grow in this way if you want. And then option three, if all else fails, you're allowed to leave. And this, I think, this is especially doable if you've shifted that framing. Instead of thinking there's something wrong with this person, then you might think, oh, it's kind of mean to abandon them. But if you say, I'm actually just not enjoying myself right now, I want something else, well, great, I have power to leave, I have agency, and I'm allowed to have fun. I'm allowed to not have to subject myself to something that I'm not enjoying. So at any moment, you can just say, hey, thanks for the conversation. I think I'm going to go meet some more people. Or if you need to, you could say, all right, I'm going to use the bathroom, I'm going to get a drink. Or you can just say, I'm going to get going. Hope you have a great night. And that's fine. You're allowed. All right? So I encourage you to notice if this is the barrier, if this is a main reason why you're not really putting yourself out there and trying different types of events, if you're really worried about getting locked in, being with someone you don't like, remember these 3 choices. Right? That you can shift the conversation, you can ask a question, you can bring up a topic, you can use that as a training ground to improve yourself, grow a skill in yourself, or you can leave. All right? I'd love to hear how it goes in the comments. I wish you a nourishing day.